appears. I've never liked Freud. I've always much more preferred Lacan. Freud seems to point fingers and then whack them in your face, whereas Lacan seems to be on a journey of exploration and adventure and takes us along on the ride. And let's face it, who doesn't recognise Hamlet in themselves? It was a clear, bright day. The sun was shining so bright that all was reflected in every detail. Every leaf on the tree, every blade of freshly cut grass, every stone in the road. Jim and I were busy in the kitchen when my youngest daughter burst through the door like a hurricane, with her friends as they came into the kitchen, all giggles and chatting. Except one girl. One girl I didn't know. She looked so sad, so distant. Her long dark hair hanging over her eyes, all dressed in black with bare legs and bony knees. So disconnected and distracted. Typical of that age when everyone sees their reflection in those around them, and the overwhelming anxiety it brings of seeing yourself reflected in the outside world. The girls ran upstairs, and she passed so close to me I could almost reach out and touch her. But something stopped me. As much as she needed connection, I felt an invisible barrier that I could not cross. I followed the storm upstairs, getting closer and closer to the room to ask the question I already knew the answer to. They sprawled across the floor and on the bed, and she sat on one end, separate from the others. She looked so distant and lost, like a deep, dark hole with no end. Such a low vibration hummed in the corner where she sat, and I could not reach it. I could not touch it. And the girls happily jostled and paid it no mind. After crowing bouts of laughter that echoed from the tiny room and out of the open window, my daughter accompanied her friends down the stairs, and the thunder of feet brought me and Jim to the kitchen door as they passed between us. My daughter and one, two friends. But where was the third? Is your other friend okay? Is she coming downstairs for food? The hurricane paused before skipping off into the kitchen. What other friend? There's just us. Jim and me looked up the stairs and then at each other. Did you see a third girl, Jim? The quiet one with the long dark hair covering her face. He nodded, still peering up the stairs. There was a report published in 2014 on the 20th of November in the Scientific World Journal as follows. Strange face in the mirror illusions or apparitional experiences that are produced by gazing at one's own face reflected in a mirror under low illumination. In a study set up under controlled laboratory conditions. 50 healthy young adults, after about 1 minute of mirror gazing, began to perceive strange face apparitions. These included huge deformations of one's own face, reported by 66% of individuals. A monstrous face, 48%. An unknown person, 28%. An archetypal face, 28%. A face of a parent or relative, 18%. And an animal face, 18%.